keep right for traffic when exiting.
Hey people, it is Thursday, August 24th. The time is 5:28 p.m. and the temperature here at, or rather in Regent Park is 21 degrees Celsius. And this is on the east side of downtown. And that is the Queen streetcar I was just on. As due to the Ontario line construction, it has been routed up to Dundas Street. And this is River Street. So that's the intersection of Dundas and River. But for this one, I'm going to be heading down to Queen Street East. And then I'll be walking west all the way over to Queen and Yonge, and then I'm going to head into the Eaton Centre. As my iPhone 12 here is a little sick. The battery health is at 78%, and this is the phone that I use for live streaming. I don't really use it for anything else. But it's time to get a new battery, and I know I could get one through a third party or just order one online and do it myself. But sometimes that brings problems, so I'm going to go do it the official way. And I think this walk should be somewhere around 2.5 kilometers or so. As you can see, we've got some gray overcast skies. It shouldn't rain during this one, but there is rain expected tonight. And the forecast was calling for thunderstorms. So this is south down the west side of River Street, and that is Labatt Avenue. And there's plans for a 400-foot plus condo going in right there. And this is the Regent Park neighborhood. And this is the eastern end of Shooter Street, and this runs between River Street here and Yonge Street, right at the Eaton Centre. Regent Park is a neighborhood undergoing a rather extensive redevelopment. And you'll notice Shooter Street has bike lanes, as does River Street. And these bike lanes date back to at least the mid-2000s, as far as my memory serves. They've been improved a little bit. You can see there's curb separation here. And I should note, I'm trying out a brand new pair of shoes on this one. I've got some minimalist shoes on, and you'll notice the toe box is actually shaped like a human foot. Instead of having round or pointy shoes, these ones have a much more natural fitting toe box.
It probably holds me.
It's an interesting mix of buildings on River Street. Some new, some really old. But Queen Street's coming up in half a block or so. Queen City Vinegar was once in that building. And right next to it is the Toronto Humane Society. That's a charity that operates animal shelters and rescue operations. And they help rehome animals. It's actually been a part of the city since 1867. Although their original location, I believe, was over at Bay and Wellesley downtown. I guess that would be more central downtown, as this is the very east end. And here we go, Queen East. So just east of here is the Don River, and that'll lead you into South Riverdale and out of downtown once you cross the Queen Viaduct, but I'm going to be heading west here. As mentioned, there will be no streetcars on this one. As for the entire eastern half of the Queen Street downtown route is rerouted up to Dundas Street. And it's pretty quiet out this way, but it'll get busier the closer I get to Yonge. Sticky Nugs Incorporated? Okay. And there's a lot of homes here. I think most of these date back to the late 1800s. And this area is Corktown. Rather, I think Corktown actually begins at... No, this is Corktown. It runs between here and Parliament Street. And this is Sumac Street. And there is the former site of the Dominion Pub. And that closed down a few months ago. And this entire building here was once the Dominion Brewery. And that dates back to 1878. A hotel on that site as well. I remember reading a news article on Blog TO about the sudden closure of that pub. I think people in the area weren't too happy. I never had a chance to go there. Most of the building is occupied by VizTech. It's basically a large digital camera store. And this is Bright Street. That'll connect you down to King Street. Some old row houses. So it is 5:39 and I have a Genius Bar appointment at 6:15. So I should be making good time. When I start running, you'll know I'm a bit behind, but I don't think I'll be. And these shoes are holding up quite well. They're kind of a minimalist barefoot style. Although I am wearing socks. I'm not really a heel-to-toe walker. I've always walked more as a midfoot striker. And I think these are a bit better suited for that walking style. Though I certainly feel every bump and imperfection in the pavement, which is a bit different from wearing more cushioned shoes. There's the Good Shepherd Ministries Homeless Drop-In Center. There's a beautiful old church here, St. Paul's Basilica, gathered in faith since 1822. Although I think this particular building is a bit newer than that. There's some people waiting at what would normally be a streetcar stop, but it's a replacement bus. That is serving this part of Queen Street as well, in addition to the rerouted streetcar. It looks like there's plans for 16 and 29-story buildings right where this Shoppers Drug Mart is. So this is the end of Corktown. I'll be entering an area known as Moss Park. That's a look north up Parliament Street. It's certainly not the prettiest stretch of Queen Street by any margin. In fact, I'd say from where Queen Street starts in Parkdale all the way to where it ends at the R.C. Harris Water Plant and the beaches, this might be the least pretty stretch, to put it politely. There's a public housing development, Moss Park. And this is Berkeley Street. And just south of here at Berkeley and King, there will be an Ontario Line subway station, and hopefully around a decade from now. And there is the Berkeley Church, which is now serving as an event venue. That dates back to 1871. And I've got half an hour to get to the Apple Store. I don't think that'll be a problem. I think it said it would be $109 for a new battery, which seems like quite the extraordinary ripoff. Then again, it is Apple, so I guess that's to be expected. Let's cross over to the other side. Looks like this entire block is up for redevelopment. And I don't know exactly what is planned to go in that spot. People selling some goods. And if you're familiar with the hit CBC TV show, Kim's Convenience, here's the store that it is loosely based on. Last I heard, the store and the building were up for sale. Obviously, they did their filming in a TV studio. And this intersection I'm heading towards, Queen and Sherbourne, doesn't exactly have the best of reputations. Might explain why there's some cops hanging out. There's definitely some interesting retailers here. not really a Shoppers Drug Mart in that spot or moving into that spot. I'm going to cross over to the south side here. Sadly, several years ago, someone was shot in the restaurant that was here before this place. And I believe a clerk working at the Moss Park discount store as well was shot several years ago. And this building on the corner, this white building, is an old hotel that dated back to the 1870s. And just to the south of it is a safe injection site. That's brought a lot of controversy around the area. And where a bustling street corner used to be is now under construction, as that's where an Ontario Line subway station will be going in. And it looks like this building is there's plans for a 31-story hotel or a 31-story condominium. I imagine the subway station spurred that development notice. That building dates back to 1897. I'm sure it has heritage status. And a lot of those condos over there are centered around Dundas and Jarvis. They have really dug Moss Park up. And across the street is the Moss Park Armory. It's a Canadian military institution. I think it's mostly reserve regiments that serve out of there. It's an outreach center just on the left I'm walking past. And we have made it to Jarvis Street. I imagine that surface level parking lot there won't be there too long. Just south of here is the St. Lawrence neighborhood. The Sloppy Chick. It's an interesting facade on that new building. And coming up on the left will be Downtown Camera. I'm embarrassed to say I've never actually been there. I've been to Henry's, the rival. There's the Carbon Bar. I've heard a lot of things about this place, but I've never been there as well. This old building it's in also goes back to 1870. That seems to be the time period where a lot of the older buildings on Queen Street were erected. And there's plans for a high-rise here. 60 stories, or 198 meters.
She's probably in her.
That's a look south down Church Street.
Whoa!
That is a tight turn for that Megabus. It's barely clearing it. Oh. It actually crushed that BMW. And the bus is just taking off. CYDW342 BMW driver just got hit and run by the Megabus. I wish I had my camera focused on what happened, but the BMW is covered in blue paint. And he's trying to chase down the bus. I was standing right there and missed a lot of it. I was trying to get a gaze looking south down Church Street. I'll go back and see if I got the license plate for that bus, although it shouldn't be too hard to pinpoint the actual bus. And look at that. Little bits left over from that BMW. And I think if you report a hit and run, you still have to pay your deductible if the third party isn't located. So unfortunately, I think that driver might be at $500 or $1,000. In addition to time out of their vehicle and in a rental. Although, who's to say the BMW didn't sideswipe the bus? I'll have to see what I have on camera. There's St. Mike's Hospital on the right. And coming up is Victoria Street, which is closed to vehicle traffic and streetcars for the next 4 years. I'm just a block away from the Eaton Centre. I think I read an article about this convenience store here. Now, after dealing with the pandemic and a massive reduction in business, they're now dealing with this construction hoarding here. Metrolink's construction has certainly led to the demise of a number of businesses along Eglinton. All right, I want to head over there into the Eaton Centre. So this is Yonge Street. And since I'm a little early, I'll head north on Yonge Street a bit and then pop into the first entrance coming up on the left. This is the never boring Yonge Street. And into the mall. And over to the Crapple store it will be. That's a new store, Aloe. Still some construction going on. Oh well, I'm 10 minutes early, no big deal. I'm going to pop into here and hopefully come back with a phone that has a battery life that isn't total ass, and then I'll wrap this one up. All right, I have dropped the iPhone off. They said it'll be ready later tonight, and I'm supposed to come back in an hour or so. It's currently 6:25, so that only took 25 minutes or so. But I think I'm gonna wrap this one up, so thank you for coming along with me on this walk along Queen Street East, starting actually at River and Dundas Street, making my way southbound to Queen, and then walking west along Queen over to Yonge, then up to the Apple store. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and if you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing below the video if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Yoink.